Now, let me do some examples using the quadratic formulas. Okay. In the first example, I'm going to show you here the discriminant is a positive. Okay. Now we have this equation 3x squared equals x plus 5. Now, remember this is very important. Before you solve the equation, you want to make sure your equation is written into this form. Okay. Because only in this way you can tell what is A and B and C. So therefore, you will not bring wrong numbers into the formula. Okay. So that means first I need to bring the x and the phi to the left side of the equation. So I can subtract x from both sides. And next I can subtract phi from both sides. Okay, so once you see the right side of the equation is 0, then we can go ahead to use a quadratic formula. And if this is the first time you learn the quadratic formula, I would suggest you write down what are the values in the formula. So you want to write down what are the A, B, and C. So A is a coefficient of x squared, right? So A is 3. Now B is a coefficient of x. And remember, if the coefficient is negative number, you must include the negative sign. Therefore, here B is a -1. And the constant is -5. Okay, after we write down these three numbers, in the next step, we plug in these three numbers into the formula. So minus B, this is like minus -1, and plus minus the square root of B squared. Remember, this is not the right way to write -1 squared. You must add a parenthesis. Okay. And minus 4 times 3 times -5 and over 2 times 3. Okay, once you complete this step, I suggest you double check if the numbers you plug in are correct, right? So minus B, so minus -1, and B squared, the parenthesis -1 squared, and minus 4 times A times C, and over 2A. Okay. So now minus -1, so that's +1, and plus minus -1 squared is +1, minus 4 times 3 times -5, we have -15 over 6. Okay, and equals 1 plus minus 1 minus, now 4 times -15, that is -60 over 6. So this is a 1 plus minus 1 plus 60 over 6. Okay, now in this example, the discriminant is 61, which is a positive, right? Okay, and because since 61 doesn't contain any perfect square numbers, So therefore, there's no way we can simplify this radical. So we just leave it alone. Therefore, the solutions are x1 equals 1 plus the square root of 61 over 6. And the second solution is 1 minus the square root of 6 over 6. And if we can simplify the radical, then we do need to simplify it. So let's say if we end up with the x equals 1 plus minus the square root of 60 over 6, then we do need to simplify this number, because since 60 equals 4 times 15, so that's gonna be the square root of 4 times the square root of 15, which is 2 times the square root of 15. So in this case, we want to write our answer into this way. So 1 plus minus 2 times the square root of 15 over 6.